I want to talk about moving to Miami. It's been quite a change, and I will definitely be talking about it more in the future, about more specific things that I've struggled with, that I've had to adapt to. I can't talk about everything right now, but I wanted to give like a general assessment, I guess, of what it's been like having to move from NC to Miami. Honestly, it's been really, really difficult, and I understand why so many people are afraid of making such a big change and why they don't, because it is difficult to move from a place that you really love, that is all you know, to somewhere that is entirely and completely different. Because that's the thing. I did not leave North Carolina hating North Carolina. I think we all, well, at least my peers growing up, we all went through a phase where we hated North Carolina. We thought it was really boring and that there was nothing to do there. But the older we got, the more we appreciated North Carolina. At least me, the older I got, the more it made sense why my parents chose there to settle down and raise a family. North Carolina is a wonderful place to raise a family in. It really is. All those childhood experiences that you see on TV and movies and shows that you read about in books, I got to experience them. I experienced strawberry picking in the summer, going to the beach in the summer, going to the mountains, staying in a cabin in the fall, having bonfires. All those things, I had them growing up. Geographically, I was close to everything. I grew up in central North Carolina, so it was 2 hours to the beach, 3 hours to the mountains. By the time I had to leave North Carolina, I had already fallen in love with North Carolina. I had already started appreciating it for what it was and had accepted it as my home. It was one of the biggest reasons, I think, for why I struggled to adapt to Miami, because I love North Carolina. But I think the fact that I didn't always love North Carolina, and it was something that I had to learn to do, that was an essential lesson for me to learn before moving here, because now I have that mentality about living in Miami, where like maybe there's a lot of things that I don't like about it, but there's also a lot that I know I can grow to love. I feel like while I am here, I'm still going to continue trying to appreciate and love Miami for what Miami is and what Miami looks like. I knew that it was going to be quite difficult for me to adapt to a different place, because I was also very aware of how much North Carolina, my family, what my life looked like over there, how much of that influenced me as a person. Yeah. I was very aware of it, very aware that where I lived really molded who I was. So I was nervous. There were a lot of things that I had to get used to and I had to let go of. I think it's easy for people to mistakenly think that it's not going to be that hard when they move, especially if they're moving to a place that they're really excited about moving to. They don't realize that when they get there, there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to have to adapt, change, accept, let go of, that before, wherever it was that they were living, they didn't even think about. There's so much that you don't know until you're there. For me, it's been the weather. The weather has really, really, really affected me. The lack of seasonal changes has really affected my mental health. And I don't think, before I moved here, there was no way that I could have known that it was going to affect me this much. The weather here, for the most part, is very hot and humid. And that goes against all my moral all my beliefs. I hate summer. I do not like hot weather. It sends me into a rage having to go outside and feeling the really, really hot, scorching sun. When I start feeling beads of sweat forming on my forehead, I just want to rip all my hair out and claw someone's eyes out. I know what that sounds like. You hate summer, so you hate being happy. You hate people that are happy. I just don't like being hot. I hate it. when I went to New York with my husband and my in-laws, and we were walking around in freezing cold weather because they were freezing and they were not happy about it, but I was having the time of my life. I was the joy that I felt in my heart. Feeling my fingers go numb instead of like drenching in sweat. I was so happy. But I was finally able to put it into words. I would 100 times much rather be uncomfortably cold than uncomfortably hot. I hate being hot. I hate it. And now this is my life. I am in 80-degree weather all year long. And that has not been great for me. I think that has been my biggest complaint about life here in South Florida. But most people that live here either prefer it or really love it, It's why people come and vacation here in Florida in the winter time, because some people love this weather. Like, this is their weather, and I simply do not relate to that. I think I would feel much better about it if there were seasonal changes, having no break from the current weather. This past winter we did have a really cold winter, but back home in North Carolina people are having snow, and I did not realize how much joy and how much I looked forward to seasonal changes until I just didn't have them anymore. I think people who live here are completely and totally satisfied with visiting other places to experience those seasonal changes. They go on vacation, they go up to Canada for a week, they get their little taste of winter, their taste of fall, and then they come back home. And they're completely satisfied with that. Not me. Not me at all. Justin has been a really amazing help in all this. He has tried to make sure that we make a trip north when there's a new season in town so that I get to experience it at least for a few days. But it just shatters me when we have to come back home and I don't get to experience the rest of fall. I don't get to experience the rest of winter, because it's not just the joy of going outside and stomping on leaves and taking a few pictures, or going to a pumpkin patch and taking a few pictures, or in the winter time going skiing or something. No, like, that's not what winter looked like for me. Seasons were not a vacation, they were my lifestyle. I would look forward to wearing my tights and my boots when I would go out in service in the fall and the winter. It was normal everyday life. It wasn't just the cold seasons that I looked forward to, also spring. You get a month or two of really cold, harsh weather, and you start looking forward to spring. You start making plans for what you're gonna do in the springtime. I said I was gonna give like a overall assessment of what it's been like, but this is just turning into me ranting about the weather here and seasons. But honestly, this feels very truthful to me. It is the two things that have most impacted me, that I have struggled with the most. I saw someone talking about the hobbies that they have throughout the year and how they change and fluctuate with the seasons, and that video made me cry. I watched it and just cried, because without realizing it, when you grow up and you are used to having seasons, you slip into that. Your life naturally slips into reserving certain activities for certain seasons, and you make plans. And when there is no seasonal changes, when the weather is the same all the time, I see that it's much harder for people to go out of their way to do the things, activities that allow you to appreciate the season you have. You have no idea how many people I've met here that haven't been to the beach in the last 5 years. There will always be a time to go to the beach. It's always 80 degrees outside. The beach is always 20 minutes away. There's not really much urgency to go do the things that you would do in the summer. Yeah, you end up with a bunch of Floridians that don't go to the beach. Whereas in North Carolina, it hit 80 degrees and we were like, when are we going to go to the beach? Because this weather is going to be over in 2-3 months. So we got to take advantage. When are we going to have a bonfire? Because it's not going to be this cold in 2-3 months. We have to take advantage of this. There was just there's just more, I think, to look forward to and to plan for when you have seasonal changes in your life. And that simply does not exist here. So if you want to go to the beach, you have to make an active effort to motivate yourself and your family and your friends to go have a beach day, to go kayaking, to go, you know what I mean? Just do things that you would do in the summer. And especially if you're somebody who struggles with your mental health, it's really hard to motivate yourself to do the things that are going to bring you joy. At least for me, when I was living in North Carolina, seeing that the leaves were starting to change on the trees, it gave me something to look forward to, because it wasn't just that it looked pretty. Seeing the leaves change outside my window meant that my mom was going to be making pozole. Like, my family was going to get together. It meant something. You see the flowers starting to bloom, and it means something. It means that we're not going to have to wear so many layers now when we go out in service. It means that you're going to see butterflies and bunnies running around in your backyard. Yeah, you have things to look forward to. And here you have to create things to look forward to, especially because life here is so busy. That's another thing that I have really struggled with. The culture, not just because there are no Mexicans here and what I'm surrounded by is a different Latin culture, but city culture, like city people. I am not used to this environment of everyone being busy all the time, everyone always rushing. Maybe it's the traffic, maybe it's how expensive life is here, that everyone needs 1 to 2 jobs to keep up with rent. Yeah, that's not something that I was used to. Back home in North Carolina, life was a lot slower. It wasn't uncommon to call up a friend and say, hey, are you busy today? Do you want to go do this? And them saying yes, because they don't have any plans. Here, you can't really make plans last minute. At least I have found that I can't really make plans last minute with people, because everybody always has something going on. Everybody's always busy with something, with either work or, spiritual activities or whatever. Like, there's just always something to do here. So everyone is always busy. You have to plan things weeks in advance if you want to see your friends, if you want to see your family, because everybody has such a busy schedule. That's just not what I was used to in North Carolina. In North Carolina, I was used to my family making plans that very same day to get together. I was used to my friends calling me and saying, hey, I'm like 5 minutes from your house. I'm going to be there in 5 minutes, and just hanging out, That's another thing. Casual hangouts here, or maybe I'm just not cool enough to be in the crowd of people that are having casual hangouts, but I don't really hear of many people here hanging out just casually. Yeah, maybe it's because everyone is busy and they need weeks in advance to plan for something, that when they finally do get to do something together, there has to be like a really big payoff to it, so they'll plan something a little bit more elaborate. But that's not really what I yearn for. Me personally, I yearn for more personal, intimate hangouts, so I've tried to do that. I've tried to invite some friends over where we're not doing anything elaborate, maybe just watching a movie or just talking and eating. And everybody that I've invited really likes that. So I've had success with that so far. There's so much that I could talk about for ages on why life here is so different. It's been so much, and so many of these things are like little things that you would have never thought I'd struggle with or I'd have to get used to. Because that's another thing. Miami is a bubble. When Justin and I were dating, he would tell me, don't tell people that I'm from Florida, tell people I'm from Miami, because Florida and Miami are two different things. Miami feels like its own country within the United States. It really does. My first impression of Miami, the first time that I visited, was that it felt like Mexico City, because it was the only thing I could compare it to. It was the only other place I had been to that reminded me of this. You can't get a job here if you don't speak Spanish. Like, that has been, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I could talk about this forever. I could make 2, 3, 5 videos, 5-hour-long videos just talking about how different Miami is from North Carolina. But those are the biggest things: the weather, the lack of seasonal changes, and the cultures. Yeah, the Latino culture is different here. They're not a minority here. The majority here are Caribbeans, Cubans, so they don't carry themselves like minorities. Whereas where I'm from, we are a minority over there. So I don't know. In that way, I do feel very different from Latinos here. I enter places very much aware of the fact that I am the only Mexican there, and that is so weird to me, and it's still something I'm not used to. I'm still not used to going to parties and not hearing any Mexican music, only Caribbean music. I'm not used to that. Yeah, and then, like the city culture of everything just being more fast-paced here. Yeah, that's mostly what has affected me since moving here, is all of that. Yeah, and there's so much more. So much that I could talk about. I don't want it to sound like I hate Miami. When I talk about this, you very obviously will be able to tell that I do prefer a lot of things about North Carolina, but that doesn't mean I hate Miami. Two things can be true at the same time, okay? I can love North Carolina and I can prefer North Carolina and not hate Miami. I'm gonna be living here for a while, and it would just be a complete waste of time and energy to try to hate this place just because I prefer things about another place. There's so much that I love about Miami. I have had the best food here in Miami. There is so much good food here. Oh my lord. The nature of Florida, the little bit that I have been able to see, I love it so much. Oh my gosh. I mean, Caribbeans are 10 times more affectionate than Mexicans. And as somebody who's very introverted and reserved, I need that sometimes. I need somebody to, yank me out of my shell and force me to socialize and, be more outgoing. I have definitely become a lot more outgoing since living here. Is it a coincidence that I started vlogging and finally doing this after living here a little bit? No, this place has really helped me open up a lot more. And yeah, there's a lot to appreciate about Miami. I am, especially since starting to vlog and romanticize my life a little bit, I'll have moments where I'll do something and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad this exists here. Because this doesn't exist anywhere else. We went to a doctor's appointment not too long ago, and we stopped to have breakfast at this place where they had empanadas and freshly squeezed orange juice and broccoli cheddar soup and coffee, Cuban coffee, and pastries and chocolate croissants and tequeños. I'm sorry, but that just does not exist in North Carolina. An establishment like that offers all those things does not exist in North Carolina. The billboards are hilarious. They're in Spanglish, and that to me is fun and really cool, because that's not something I would ever see in North Carolina. Like I said, we're minorities over there. You're not gonna see a billboard in Spanglish out in the open road in the butt crack of North Carolina. That's just not happening. But here, oh my god, I need to show you guys sometime the billboards that they have here. Yeah, every place has its own charm. There's something to appreciate and love about everywhere you go, and I am hoping to continue doing that while I'm here. It's really exciting for me when I find something new to love and appreciate about Miami, because I don't know, it's like validation that I was right to have faith, in moving to a different place and in having that mentality that everything was going to be okay as long as I had an open mind and was willing to try new things. Everything was going to be fine. When I get to experience something new that I like, I'm like, yeah, see, I tried something new and it worked out great, and that's nice. So we started off this month by going to a party for the pioneers. I love the parties here in Miami, I'm not gonna lie. Look at these gifts, look at this cake. They put a lot of effort into expressing love and appreciation and affection for everyone, and I really like that. I really like that about here. It's very comforting, very healing for me to be in a congregation where everybody just wants to have a good time, you know? And they're not shy about expressing it. We played games, they played music, and we danced for a very long time. And yeah, we also got to see this lovely friend right here is a owl that is native to Florida. He was hanging out around there, so I took a video of him. And I had my very first guarapo. I had never had guarapo before. It's like a cane sugar drink. And yeah, I really liked it.
It almost tastes like a little bit creamy. It's weird.
We also went to Flanagan's, and yeah, this is a South Florida staple. And you gotta have the rib rolls every time you go, and they were good, as always. So, there's that. But then later in the month, my parents came to visit me for a weekend, and the first full day that they spent here, we started it off by having breakfast arepas with eggs and bacon and queso fresco. And yeah, it was a great way to start the day. Later, we went to a plant nursery because both Justin's mom and my mom love plants, and I knew my mom would love this place. I know it took all her self-control not to take every pretty thing that she saw. But yeah, that was really fun. We had a light lunch here and some smoothies. And I guessed that my mom was going to take at least 4 plants, and she ended up taking 6. So yeah, good for her, you know. On the last day, we had a great dinner. We all collaborated and had the best dinner ever. And here is Ramona playing with a fidget spinner because it's cute, and us messing with her while she's napping because it's also cute. Yeah. We made a lot of Lego sets this month. By a lot, I mean 2. This was one of them. It was fun. Yeah. I cooked a few things. I made bulgogi, I made tandoori chicken, and homemade naan. I think this was the best naan I've made. I'm not gonna lie. It was really good. Yeah. And here is Ramona again, and us messing with her while she sleeps. Because she messes with us when we're awake, so whatever. On to the rest of the video. Can you believe that I never talked about my planner? I've been talking about my planner at the start or the end of every year for the past like 2-3 years, and I just completely forgot this year. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. I feel that every single year I get closer and closer to finding the perfect method of planning for myself, and that is exciting to me. I have found that in several occasions my planner has saved me, truly. Oh my gosh, I don't know how my wedding would have turned out if I didn't use my planner during that year. That was crazy. I was planning a wedding and also planning the whole moving situation to an entirely different state at the same time. That was really, really stressful. The most chaotic time ever. And my planner saved me. So I always encourage people to use a planner, especially if they're wedding planning. And I don't know, I like to talk about it. I like talking about it. And I like seeing other people talk about it. So I'm going to put in my 2 cents on that. I used to be into bullet journaling. And I think the reason why I got into bullet journaling is because at first it seemed like the perfect way to stay creative and also organized at the same time. Yes and no. For me, at least, it was fun for a little bit, but it very quickly became very impractical because I'm also a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist. I'm a huge perfectionist, and I felt like I needed it to look perfect every single week, every single month for me to enjoy it and for me to actually use my bullet journal planner. It kind of just defeated the entire purpose of it. I was more distracted with making it look pretty, making it look very colorful and all that, instead of focusing on staying organized. What it was that I wanted to use it for in the first place, you know, getting my life together. I went from a bullet journal to then using the Hobonichi Cousin planner. I have it right here. I couldn't find my bullet journal. I couldn't find it to show it to you. I still have my Cousin. It's the Hobonichi Techo Cousin. This was back in 2023. Justin got this for me when we were dating, and I never used it. I did not use it at all. I would only really find use in the weeks portion of it and the months, but I would never use the daily pages that it comes with. This is more for like people that like journaling along with planning. I don't think I put a single entry. I'm lying. You caught me lying. I'm actively lying to you right now. I do. This is from the day that I got engaged. Oh, I have another one. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I would write in it every now and then, but I wasn't using it consistently. Yeah, there's another one. Shoot, I should read that before I post that. I think I'm good. I don't know. I bought a whole cover for it and I never used it. That's why I always tell people before they get a Hobonichi to start off with the least intimidating planner that they have, so that you try it out first. See if you even use it. I started using the weeks. I had another one before this one, but I could not find it. This is my favorite Hobonichi planner. It is the most practical for me. Like I said, in the Cousin, I realized that I was only using the month and weekly layouts. So the year after that, I got my first week's planner. I used this planner for 2 years, but and something that I have always hated about these is that the week layouts are horizontal, and my brain does not work that way. I tried to make it work for another year, which is why I got this one, and by like the halfway point of last year, I just stopped using it because, again, like it's not how my brain works. I tried to create my own horizontal layout in this and it just did not work. This planner was in here, but now I've got my new planner in here. So here, I'll open it up. Okay, so here is my planner. I've just got this like little bow on here and this locket, this heart locket. And when you open it, this little scrap, I think from like a wrapper from a present that Justin gave me when we first got married. And then here is a picture, a Polaroid from when we were dating. Here is the new planner that I'm going to be using this year. This is the pen that I like to use with it because it's really, it's got a really fine point and it dries really quickly. Back here I have a little sketchbook, I guess, that I don't really sketch in that much, to be honest. I have lots of unfinished sketches in here, but I'll show you some of them. I got trees, sequoia from California, persimmon that I never finished. Yeah, so like I said, just a bunch of unfinished ones too. And then back here I've got stickers, things that I like to use to decorate and whatnot. But here's my planner. I've got 3 tabs in here so far. Oh, another picture from when Justin and I were dating. I think this was Disney Springs. Yeah, the 3 tabs are for the months. This is where the months start, and then I have a tab where the weeks start. Oh, this is the current week, and I'm using this picture of my brother when he was little as a bookmark. I use pictures a lot for bookmarks. Pictures and postcards that people give me, I'll use them for bookmarks. But yeah, the weeks, and then the graph paper where that starts. I still haven't. Oh, another picture of my brother. I hope this doesn't bother him if he sees this. But that's him, that's Jamin. Yeah, so that's what I've got so far. This was a very busy day, as you can see. And yeah, it's kind of the same thing that I've always done. Triangles are events. The circles are just list things that I have to do, tasks. Yeah, and then like when I work, I always write how many hours I did. And I color coordinate the months with the weeks. It took me a while to start using it though. The first few weeks of January were kind of, you know, not that great for me mentally. So I have lots of blank weeks and I would just write down like really important things. But in February, I tried to use it in my everyday routine. So yeah, that's what that's looking like right now. That's my planner. That's my planner for this year. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you alone now. I'm gonna shut up and go away for another month. Oh my gosh, thank you to everybody who messaged me. If they didn't comment, I did get a lot of people who messaged me privately and told me that they watched my first vlog and that they really enjoyed it and stuff. Thank you guys. Y'all are so nice to me. Oh my gosh, y'all are so nice. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate people telling me that they missed, you know, this slower type of content and that they are excited to see what else I do. Thank you. Thank you for watching and keeping up with me. Yeah, if you're washing dishes, I hope your back doesn't hurt too much after finishing all those dishes. If you're cooking, I bet the food is gonna come out great. If you're eating, I hope it was really yummy. Whatever it is that you're doing, I hope it's going well. I'm just assuming that people are doing things while they're watching this. I don't know. That's how I watch YouTube videos. Anyways, thank you for watching and I will see you later. She's not giving up.